What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk to you about NIO. I want to go over some expectations for this upcoming week, what might cause some volatility in the stock price, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So starting off with macro data, this evening we do have a lot of big ones. So we have house price index, industrial production, retail sales, and unemployment. So that could potentially move the market. And I think what the market is doing with Chinese data is inverse. So we did have some negative PPI, and even last data new loans wasn't all that great. So I think now the market is assuming that some level of stimulus is going to be coming. So it wasn't officially announced, so no new policies last week, but the next time that they are meeting is at the beginning of October. So potentially from now until then, it might be one of those weird scenarios that if negative data comes out, that indirectly is going to be seen as positive by the market. So we have a lot of big data coming out this evening that again could really impact a lot of Chinese stocks. These are all the companies unveiling the earnings, so nothing really crazy. So I don't see any of these companies really moving NIO. Aside from that though, the only thing that's really come out over the weekend is that ES8 configuration. But all of this information did come out last Friday, so it's not new information or anything like that. But then again, the market's been very much favoring new launches, new updates to vehicles. So potentially this could push NIO a little bit higher. A lot of articles over the weekend though about JP Morgan. So JP Morgan did give a $8 buy rating. Nick, who has a 46% success rating. So pretty good stuff. But like I said, nothing really significant as far as updates. One thing I did forget to bring up last, update for the analyst rating. This is what JP Morgan last disclosed through their 13F. So they closed 100% of their call positions. They did reduce their puts by 0.34%. So nothing too crazy. And then they did increase their common stock by just over 2,500%. So pretty good stuff if you ask me. So once the new 13Fs are disclosed, so probably the second, third week of October, then this is where we'll see probably during that time frame them increase their position and to kind of match with that bullish rating. So that's kind of how funny comical things work, and manipulation and all the other fun jazz, because institutions tend to buy and then they'll amend their rating saying, hey, you know what, it's amazing buy, everyone else should do it. But nonetheless, one thing that could potentially impact NIO this week is Fed cuts. And so not directly though, but indirectly through algorithmic trading, most likely it could get affected. So right now there is, for the September 17th meeting, a 93.4% likelihood of a 25 basis point cut. In my opinion, that's largely already priced in, but what Powell says afterwards and what he kind of hints at for October, that's what's going to move the market. So directly, this doesn't really affect NIO at all, but through algorithmic trading, it could. And lately, algos have been rather timid and quiet with NIO, but then again, we've seen it in the past where algos and shorts make up like a good 65% of the average daily volume. So algos are a big deal ultimately. And at the same time, with these potential cuts, a lot of individuals are assuming that there's going to be a big market rotation, because right now there's $7.3 trillion sitting in money markets. So people are assuming that there is going to be a market rotation similar to what happened in 2020 to 2021, where everything just went up like crazy. And that's because a lot of money left money markets to go back into both crypto and equity. So people are assuming with these cuts that is going to occur. So again, that could potentially impact NIO. As far as shorts goes, I don't really understand what has been happening. I wish I knew, but going into this upcoming week, 10.01% of the free flow is being shorted. So just on Friday alone, they did return 20.59 million. Thursday, they returned, I think it was 17 or just shy of 18 million. So in 2 days, last 2 days, they returned 38 million shares. $1 million question is why? Is this part of their big plan that they're going to be trying to manipulate NIO, or do they actually sense that NIO is ready to move higher? That's going to be something to keep in mind. And if there is hypothetically this rotation that does occur, big money will be starting to focus on value plays. And one thing that I think we can all agree on, just based on the key metrics, so PS ratios, NIO is at a substantial discount to other Chinese EVs and massively at a discount to American EVs. So maybe that's why shorts have been returning. Cost to borrow average 1.81%, but 154.63 million shares overall are being shorted. DTC, despite them returning a lot, is still at 2.4 or 2.54 days. So it does signal that they are still overextended. So you never know. We could be seeing the single digits this week, and that would be crazy. I've been covering NIO for on and off for a year and a half, 2 years or something like that, and it has never been this low. So definitely a unique circumstance. Looking at the options, you see a consensus for it to be between that 650 and 7. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 550 to 6. So you are seeing a little bit of a battle anticipated, but in my opinion, I think given the circumstances, there is a little bit more upside with it right now at 622. It is trading between this R1 and the pivot, so 617 is going to be that strong support. 644 followed by 661 is going to be the next strong target / resistance points. Moving over here on the actual chart, it was able to successfully close above that 10-day moving average, signaling more of a kind of growing momentum behind the scenes. And honestly, yeah, even if it was because of shorts, same goes for Thursday. I don't think anyone's really complaining the fact that it did go up quite a lot. So good to see. One thing to take note of though is there is this small little gap still. So it doesn't look like willing buyers are filling in just yet. So that could potentially change this week. In regards to options, it is quad witching as well, so that's going to be a whole new level of volatility. And we do have 2 weeks left in Q3, so that does mean that a lot of institutions will be rebalancing their portfolios. But in my opinion, quickly going back over here, I do feel by the end of the week, NIO will be closing between this R3 and this R2. So anticipate a lot of volatility. Most likely we will be seeing the 5s as well this week, but by the end of the week, I do feel that we will be closing between this R3 and this R2. So let me know your viewpoint on that. Do you think it's too optimistic? Do you think it's too low? Because I've seen a lot of people assuming that it's going to be $10 in the next 2 weeks. One thing as well I did forget to bring up is NIO Day. That's not necessarily, I guess, Monday through Friday type of scenario, but next Saturday. So that could be a good catalyst as well that might really push NIO higher. So that might cause maybe some FOMO on Friday leading into that day. That's what has typically happened in the past. So let me know your thoughts on NIO. Where do you see things going? Are you planning on buying? Are you selling? I think what I'll be doing is I'll start to sell a lot more puts. So if you don't know options, highly suggest researching them. But if you are selling puts at a certain strike price, if the stock goes below that, you buy. If it stays above it, you get to keep the premium. So it's kind of a good win-win for individuals that don't want to chase a stock, that want to buy it at a certain price. So again, something to kind of keep in mind. So let me know your viewpoint on NIO. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto. I put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades, so worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.